One of our past directors, Patty McKee, will come to the podium at this time.
I am excited to finally be able to present this award to Carla. It has been a long time in coming, not just because of COVID. I first met Carla when she came to the Des Moines Catholic Worker back in the 1980s. She is now at the New York Catholic Worker, but still takes part in worship at Trinity Las Americas United Methodist Church via Zoom, sharing her insights on social justice and concerns. She has a caring heart, a strong soul, strive for peace and justice in whatever she does. She worked hard to earn her education degree while raising her own family, and she has been a teacher and a mentor. She has also served as Legal Aid Society Vice President and Community Rep. She was a national board member for the War Resisters League and past president of Iowa Cure that works for reform of the Iowa criminal justice system. Dingman Peace Award.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you, Patty McKee. Yes. First and foremost, I have to give thanks to all the people. First, I'd like to give thanks to God. It was only because of God placed me where I was supposed to be. It has nothing to do with me. I would like to take credit, but I would be remiss and I would be lying. I'd also like to thank my ancestors who walked this world before me, making the road easier for me. And I am also thankful that they walked the road. Not only my grandparents, but my parents. My mom, who left me way too soon. I always like to tell people that I was tried by the fire at a young age. When I was a month before I turned 6 years old, my mom died. A month after I turned 6 years old, my grandmother died. 4 months later, my grandfather died. I think God knew that I was going to have a hard road. And he said, let me show Carla Dawson that she's going to be okay. And one of the reasons I knew I was going to be okay is because God gave me the best sister in the world. And I want you all to know, it's because my sister Jackie has always been the wind beneath my wings. Please, please. So with a sister like her, I could do no wrong because she kept me out of a lot of trouble. That was so lovely. But me and Jackie are the youngest. We're number 7 and 8 of 7 and 8. My sister always says, she said, I always knew you were going to be a leader. I'm like, why? She said, well, you bossed me around my whole life. I'm like, I didn't know I was bossing her around. So that's a part of my life. And so when in the early 1980s, I met a man named Larry Johnson. He was the love of my life. And he blessed me with a son named Julius Johnson. And my boy Julius is getting ready to be 39 this year. And when I got blessed with Julius, I got blessed with a whole bunch of Johnsons. Two of them are here today, Miss Johnson and Jerry Johnson. And they came from Davenport. That's what family does. They'll travel far for you. But Jerry is a twin, and Miss Johnson has always treated me like her daughter. Most people thought she was my mom. So I would like to give thanks for the Johnsons who've been holding me down for the last 42 years. When I left Davenport, I came to Des Moines. I needed somewhere to stay. Somebody gave me a little pamphlet. I opened it up. I called, and it was a Des Moines Catholic worker. The people who welcomed me were still today some of my best people. Wendy Vasquez, Wendy Bobbitt, she welcomed me in. Kay Meyer, she welcomed me in. We all had littles. We had little bitty kids. And our kids were like brothers and sisters to each other. Wendy's two kids are no longer with us. But my Katie Bob and my Luke, they were my kids because God gave them to me. He gave their mom to me, and then he gave them kids. Kay Meyer, her girl Kenna, she left us way too young, but she was my girl too. And her brothers and her one sister, they're my kids. People are always like, what's the Catholic worker? It's your family that you get to choose because God knows you need them. So I was so blessed to get to go to the Catholic worker. When I also got to the Catholic worker, probably 9/10 of the people on the list who Father Dave read their names are people who had a profound impact in my life. Nobody more than Bill and Jean Basinger. I used to say to my kids, I said, do you want to go see Bill and Jean? They're like, we want to go see our Grandpa Bill and Jean, Grandpa Bill and Grandpa Jean. I said, okay. And so all their lives, they went to their New Year's Eve party. People are like, what are you doing for New Year's, Carla? I'm like, we're going to Bill and Jean's. They're like, what's that? I'm like, it's a party I've been going to. I went, however long, I only missed 2 New Year's Eve party in the last 28 years. One, I had a baby on the 12th, I was a little tired. And one, I was in New York. But Bill and Jean are the example of what I like to be in my life. And because Bill and Jean, I got a whole nother family. I got Lori, I got Chris. So I was blessed by another family. There's a man who was lovely. If you guys know the Plowshares pens, there was a man named Phil Riley who made them Plowshares pens. But some of you don't know that Phil Riley is the man who sent my ex-husband to the Des Moines Catholic worker. Yeah. When I say ex-husband, he's still one of my best friends. We've been divorced 23 years, but he's still, Richard and Gamo's still one of my favorite people in this world because he's a good person. And because of the Catholic worker, I got to live in proximity to Moulton Elementary School, which was, to me, one of the best places in this whole city of Des Moines. Because my first year there, we had a principal. She didn't really want to be there. And so it was lucky that she left 2 years later. And then a man who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. His name was James Julius Graber. Mr. Graber passed away last year. But he also gave me teachers who love my kids unconditionally. And one of them is Carolyn Hake Walker. As the kids would say, we don't know anybody who has more energy than Miss You. Well, that's a good thing when you're teaching rambunctious third graders, just saying. And then after I left Moulton, I was given a job by a man named Dr. Vince Lewis. He hired me as an associate at North High School. Dr. Lewis let me leave my job and take classes at DMAC. Dr. Lewis, there was a program offered up. It was called TQP, Teacher Quality Project. It was a collaboration between Des Moines Public Schools, Drake, and DMAC. He said to me, Carla, I want you to apply for that. He didn't already know that I'd been asked to apply for it, but it's okay. And I got accepted in that program. He said, Carla, if you leave, I will hire you back. So I went to Drake for 2.5 years, quit my full-time job. Went to Drake for 2.5 years, and I graduated the day before my 44th birthday. And then Dr. Lewis hired me back. That's twice he hired me. In the TQB program, there were people who supported us through everything. We had people who had breakdown, we had people who got divorced, had kids, you name it. We covered the whole gambit. But there was a woman in Des Moines Public School, her name was Twyla Woods. She was a godsend to us. There was no problem too small or too big that she would not help us with. And there was a woman named Isabelia who was a light when we really needed it. And I have been oh so blessed by Trinity Los Americas United Methodist Church. Pastor Barb, she brought me into the church. Her and Pastor Diane were so lovely. Pastor Barb passed away 3 years ago. And now our pastor, Alejandro, muy buena gente. I left Des Moines Public Schools, and I was blessed. I was at Bill and Jean's house for New Year's. I just came back from New York. And Linda Danielson said to Carmen, across the room, she said, Carmen, Carla's here. We should see if she wants to be the Wild Girl coordinator. Okay. Carmen's like, that sounds good. So Carmen, Dr. Lewis, and Linda said, Carla, would you like to be the Wild Girl coordinator? I said, okay, because I know the Wild Girl program. So then, that was the third time Dr. Lewis had hired me for a job. So I was oh so blessed to be hired by Carmen and Dr. Lewis. The Wild Girls gave me a new purpose in life. They were little girls, young women, who could look at me and see that they had a future. They could see no matter what holds you down, you get up again, and you keep getting up until you succeed. And so, one of the first ever Wild Girls, who is now, has her master's in counseling, and is working on her master's in education, teaching and education at Drake University. I would like you to welcome Claudia Gonzalez. Claudia Gonzalez, please stand up. And the Wild Girl motto is, Claudia, we have dreams for ourselves, for our community, and for our world. And then the Wild Girls answered, go out and dream. Last year, one of my Wild Girls died. But I always remember one of the last times I saw her, she said, we'd had a big meeting at Seafoam, the Wild Girls had, and she said to the other Wild Girls while we were sitting in our circle, she said, one thing we can always count on. She said, Miss Carla has our back like a backpack. So I have been so blessed by so many Wild Girls. I would like to say how blessed I was by Dr. Julio Camarota, who was a professor at Iowa State, who got me hooked up with Donna Raposa, who's the director of El Éxito. Young people just need people to love them, who they are, where they are. Let them know that there are going to be a lot of obstacles, but you can do it. When I was let go at Seafoam, that was one of the hard days of my life. But as I told the old director who took over after Carmen, I said, this hurts really bad. I said, but 1971 is my benchmark year. I said, I know I'm gonna be okay. If I can make it through 1971, I can make it through anything. And here I stand. I got another wonderful, great job at Community Youth Concepts. My boss, Amy, hired me because two of the young ladies who I'd worked with at Seafoam, Brittany and Dariana, who were two of the loveliest young women who, my Brittany was, when she was a sophomore at Drake University, she got pregnant. She had twin little boys the January of her sophomore year. She went on to graduate with honors, and she was the first African American voted by her class to be the president to speak at the commencement graduation. And I was blessed to get to take Wild Girls to see her give her speech. Some people don't think about representation because they don't have to. But as you can see, I'm a black woman. And I'm here to tell you, representation matters. So I left my job at Community Youth Concepts when the Iowa that I had grown up in changed so dramatically. When the pandemic came and our governor said, oh, it's okay. We're not gonna wear masks. We're not gonna social distance. It'll go away. I said, that's not the Iowa I know. And so I moved to New York City, to the Catholic Worker in New York, where every single person I saw had a mask on. We're talking New York City, which is probably, what, 100 times bigger than Des Moines, Iowa? I don't know, but it's big. But still in my heart, I'm an Iowan. You can take the girl out of Iowa, but you can't take Iowa out the girl. So I moved to the New York Catholic Worker in August of 2020. And it's sad, but I felt safe in New York City, where I didn't feel safe in Des Moines, Iowa. So I've been at the Catholic Worker in New York since August. It's been a wild ride, don't get it twisted. But it's lovely. It's everybody's like, you come from where? I'm like, Iowa. And they're like, Iowa? But then I get to tell them that when great Catholic workers leave Des Moines, they go to New York. There were 4 people who live at the New York Catholic Worker, and they all came from Iowa. But in closing, I'd like to say some words. I wish they were my words, but they're not. But a lot of people know a woman named Tracy Chapman, singer-songwriter. I'd like you to listen to these words with your heart. It's a song called Tell It Like It Is. She says, what breaks your heart? What keeps you awake at night? Tell it, tell it, tell it, tell it like it is. There are things we hold in our heart, and they're just our things. But if you say it, somebody will hear you. And it might be what they're holding in their heart. And we all carry so much in our hearts. And we want this to be a better world for everybody. Be you black, be you white, be you Latino, be you gay or straight, transgender. We want the same things. We want a better world. We want a better world for our kids and our grandkids. But as you can see, all my life, all my adult life, I've lived in community. That's the thing that holds me up. It's not a single thing I've done. It's every person whose lives has touched mine and whose lives I hope I've touched. But I would like to say thank you to Catholic Peace Ministries. But thank you to all of you who came tonight. Gracias para Dios, para toda mi vida.